Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to see Word Wielder put in work.
I just want to see it win the game on the spot, what it was meant to do. And it looks like he's leaving Dragon through again.
Okay.
Banning out the Runecraft deck. Okay.
Let's see if the game plays out in a slightly different fashion.
That's right. He's
must
playing
know
his Root deck
something.
first. That's right. And Zerofyne, even though all of the bans are the same, is choosing to play Shadowcraft first against the Word Wielder Ginger deck and not his Dragoncraft deck. Very interesting. I can't imagine if the same exact game happens that Word Wielder Ginger would come back off of the Illusionist again. But you never know. There is a 25% chance for those things to happen.
Okay. Runecraft on the draw, so that's very important. Has a play into a Skull Ring into a Catacomb.
This
So
is
that's going to be tough.
Yeah, about the best draw you can get if you're Shadowcraft.
Witch of Sweets, though, is pretty good, and setting up the Grimnir, a 2/3 ward is nice.
Great. Grimnir is one of the ways that you can actually stop this crazy draw. I mean, it doesn't stop it all the way, but it stops all the damage from
One
going
of the
to
most
face.
effective methods.
Right, and it gets rid of all of the last word effects immediately.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Is missing a turn 4 play at the moment, though.
Mysterian Grimoire.
Ooh, okay. Deciding not to install the Grimnir here, waiting
Tell us
for
a
that
bit
to be the evolve.
about the Grimoire.
So Grimoire, why is this in this deck? Have you seen any spells in this neutral rune deck yet? No. What it does, it is a 3-play 0.12, kind of small in stats, but it will draw you 2 cards, and when it dies, you discard all the spells in your hand. So if you don't play any spells, it's just a draw 2.
Basically like a Pure-Hearted Singer that instantly gives you the 2.
Absolutely. And I'm assuming, or not assuming, we know Warfoki is also playing Pure-Hearted Singer, so just a lot of card draw with the Witch of Sweets, Grimoire, Pure-Hearted Singer. A lot of ways to fill up that hand early to make sure that that Word Wielder Ginger and all of the late game options are available.
I really like, definitely going face. There's no real efficient way to handle, in terms of stats on board, what Warfoki is putting out, but you're kind of trying to play around that, right?
Right. Really just depends on if he values face damage here, or if he values trying to clear off as much of the board as possible. I think with a Grimoire, you're really trying to clear board. You're not really trying to go face, so I think he's just going to try to empty as much as he can here.
It's interesting. Warfoki desperately wanted something and was willing to mill to find it.
That's true. Instead of playing the Grimnir yet again here to block off some of this damage.
Maybe he identifies that Grimnir in the late game against Shadow is just that valuable.
Yep, that could be the case. I'm just saving this for the late game. I want to win with Bahamut's and Grimnirs the old Dragon way.
I mean, his turns are starting to ramp up. Of course, for Shadow, Shadow is going to start ramping up here as well. But Neutral Rune, you know, once you get into Hector and Felice and you have, you know, the Illusionists start being able to be utilized, Sahak Israfil can tie into a Word Wielder Ginger turn.
Very interesting line of play, and Zerofyne. I mean, if you saw the Andrialphus Evo, every single card in hand for Zerofyne is a follower right now, which means that Andrialphus basically just doubled up on card value with everything here. Never going to run out of cards.
They're going to have all their options going into this late game.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't get to see what gets milled there.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
By Warfoki's reaction, unless he's a very stoic individual,
not important.
I don't know if he minded that too much.
Now, already with 2 Bahamuts in hand and a Grimnir and Saha with Israfil, like double Saha Israfil, like this is pretty much everything you need to beat Shadow. It's just, can you do it in time, because it's not like Dragon where you are ramping into these options.
Yeah. Chose not to use the Evolution Orb, and I think that's probably right.
Play around that Soul Squasher so that you can take a little bit less damage overall this turn.
And just 2 turns away from being able to use the Sahak Israfil, which is, I mean, you desperately need the board
massive.
wipe.
Yeah,
you desperately need
massive.
the board wipe at this point. Zerofyne has been riding off the Skull Ring plus the Andrialphus Catacomb.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's see what Warfoki can do next turn. Again, he has the Grimnir option. He does have the Ogre. He does have a few things he can do. None of them are super substantial.
Yeah, I feel like this is the last turn that pressure is going to be put on him. He has options for Ward, but he saves his Grimnir all game long.
Yeah, And also the problem that, yes, this might be the last turn that pressure is on him, but this is going into the turn 7 where Ektar becomes live and that huge damage push is real.
This is a tough turn.
I think you might just have to go double ward here. I think you just go double ward, evolve the best way you can. Okay, he's going to go with Illusionist. This is another way to deal with double follower here. Oh, and it puts the ward up. Okay. Doesn't put a big ward up.
Because it's at the end of your opponent's turn that it actually disappears.
Right. So this will allow for 4 plus... Oh, so much damage.
This Ektar, I think
this is 12 damage. It's not lethal. It's 1 damage off. But 1 damage off when you're holding Odile and Thane, things like that, the game gets very hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just so much advantage because you can wipe board and still do a significant amount of damage too.
And there's no healing on Warfoki's side for turn 7, so I think just the 1-2 punch of Ektar this turn, Odile next turn, that's going to be it.
What a... this is Shadowcraft operating at maximum efficiency.
Yeah. Oh, not going for the 2-turn lethal.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Interesting. His board is going to be wiped after this turn too, so I have to...
I don't know what... Why would you not go for the Ektar play here? I don't see it.
Huh.
I can understand you want to play a value game, but why do you want to do that against a deck that is super value, especially into the later games of the turn, or the later stages of the game? However, this does represent another full board for an Ektar, so I guess this is technically a 2-turn lethal as well.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more abstract way.
Israfil Sahak, because of the Catacomb effect, will basically replicate 4 skeletons.
Yeah.
Which means that 12 damage.
And you can get rid of 1 more with an Evolution Orb, which means that actually only 3 followers will stay alive. So no, this wasn't a 2-turn lethal setup, whereas the other way was.
So this means there's 9 damage available for him. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, because he drew. He actually milled an Ektar there.
Ouch. Sometimes you can overdraw with Andrialphus if all of your followers, have that effect. But I think Zerofyne, if he does not win in the next few turns, I think he set himself up for failure here. He had to win.
Yeah, it could turn around on him. He still has a double ward play too.
He does.
And another Sahak. And we already know that at least 2 Catacombs, I think, have been committed already, so that probably is not a threat you're going to have to deal with for a while.
Right. The Catacomb threat is gone. Generally speaking, people play 2, so some might play 3. And in any case, you're worried about the bigger plays now, the Thanes, the Ektars, and all that kind of stuff. It looks like Zerofyne is going to go in this turn.
Yeah. The 9, and then he has 2 on the Odile. Still can't heal from the Israfil, so unless a Happy Pig shows up...
That's true. The Odile will still get in there. So he finally did pull the trigger. And now it's just down to the fact that Warfoki doesn't have any heal.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Zerofyne makes it past the first game, and so this means that Warfoki's back in this scenario where he's going to have to fight out against Dragon with his deck.
Yep. He's got to beat Dragon twice. 2 times. Wait.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's got the Demon Eater. Okay.
Yep.
Almost giving me a heart attack here, Zerofyne. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Different ways to approach the scenario.
Yep.
Warfoki realizes what's going to happen here. So many cards milled.
So many cards milled.
And there it is. Warfoki down 1 game, and this is pressure on.
This is pressure on. This is for the marbles here.
You get this far with the deck. And the one time you get to play it, we're just seeing it get beat up.
We're seeing it get beat up. This is the same thing we talked about yesterday with LLDV,
yeah. With his Mysterian deck.
Yeah, Mysterian deck. It's like, man, this deck got all the way here, and when we're looking at it, it's just like, what does it do? Like, we know what Wallet Rune does. It's a more straightforward deck. It plays the Saha Quill package and things like that. But we haven't really seen it go off because it's just been too slow.
Yeah. I almost... Well, yeah. Definitely wanted to be on the play in that sense. But it's hard to beat that kind of curve.
It's really hard. I mean, when you have the perfect curve and you're on the play with Shadowcraft, yeah, Very hard to beat.
You even had the on-turn Ector, which he opted not to go for.
Which he opted not to go for, yeah, extending the game.
With a Thane to back it up, with the Demon Eaters to combo, with the Odile.
Yeah.
There were just way too many things. Maybe the Happy Pigs, you know, maybe the answer was Happy Pigs.
I'm going to go back down and saying, look at that Andriolphus play. It made it so that he was overdrawing. He had so many cards at his disposal. It just made the game look so easy.
Yeah.
But now we have Happy Pig. This is starting off a lot better, okay? We've got a Happy Pig to start with. Everything's feeling fine. So afraid of the Happy Pig.
Yeah.
That he has to take care of
call down a meteor.
Yep.
That's what Blazing Breath looks like.
It is. Blazing Breath is probably just a dragon that's hovering above the game, and then it just shoots a fireball out of its mouth.
That's like, you know, how when you have a cat, they have like the you know, they cough up.
Oh, the hairball?
Yeah. That's the dragon's version of that.
All right, this is looking like a better curve for Warfoki. He's got way up the curve. Now the difference is he does not have endgame with the Word Wielder Ginger at the moment. He has the Ginger, does not have the endgame yet, does need to draw into it, but he has plenty of time, right? Still has a good 5 turns to draw into those cards.
And we know that his deck is geared towards a lot of draw. He wants to be drawing.
And unfortunately for Zerofyne, doesn't really have a lot to do. Will be able to ramp next turn, most likely into a Canyon of Dragons. Could go all the way up the curve with the Sybil, though.
Those are some beefy wards. On turn 5?
Yeah, 5.36 ward is pretty good.
What are you going to do? Are you just gonna, your Sybil can go over one of them.
It's a pretty good stat line. Sybil can't even go over the 3/6.
Yeah, has to choose the 4. If he had evolved the 1/4 as well, that would have been like...
Something to consider, right? Yeah. Something to consider. Against Dragon, against very specific turns, if you're trying to tempo them, yes. Unfortunately, I don't think that Neutral Rune is one of those decks that can capitalize on the mid-game tempo swing, but something to think about, as always.
If you do get that tempo swing, that does open up pulling the Eta behind the double Goblin Mount Ogres.
That's true.
You know,
Elta does get protected, so Felice as well. Felice evolved, same thing.
And if you imagine that, like on turn 7, your only play is Canyon of the Dragons, because if you're trying to play Sahagwil, you're not going to get anything off of it.
Right.
Which Canyon of the Dragons is still a really great play, but it feels bad. You're skipping another turn. You're letting all those cards swing at you.
You know what feels... There's not many feelings that are better than playing a Draconic Fervor and just hitting a Blazing Breath off of it. It just feels so good.
Yeah.
Like turn 6 especially.
You feel like a criminal.
Yeah, you're just like, all right. I was in such a risky position, and one of those cards just happened to help me out a little bit. This is nice.
Yeah. The board state still continues to look very good for Warfoki, but definitely the swing will be coming soon.
Yeah, and actually this is looking, I think, really good. Unfortunately, Warfoki, again, does not have the endgame to back up this early tempo swing. And I'm still surprised that he's not utilizing the value of Elta in this Dragon matchup. Why play the card if you don't utilize it in its best matchup? Especially when you have so many wards to sit behind. Sahagwil gets turned off. Israfil gets turned off. All of these cards that are good get turned off. You just got to do it.
Yeah. Do it and be surprised. Oh, wow. This Hector looks real clean.
Yeah. Hector was a great draw there.
Hector and evolve the Elta.
Please. Shut off Bahamut's.
I actually don't know if that's a good play, but I just want to see it happen.
Let's do it. It is a good play. Thank you. There we go.
Oh!
All right. So that means no Bahamut. Got to kill this first. And there's no way to do it at the moment. That Elta is sticking around.
Yeah, there actually is no... Okay.
Queen of the Dread Sea doesn't do anything.
Yeah, because it won't get its fanfare effect.
Zeus doesn't have... well, Storm's not a fanfare effect.
The only card that I think will work is Canyon of the Dragons. Like, Pure Hearted Singer won't even draw you.
No, it won't. Zeus does get Storm and Bane, though. That is not affected by any come into play effects.
It's a identity of the card rather than the effect that it pops on play. But still, look at how much that just denied him. And you still have opportunity to play a bunch of wards. I don't know if you Word Wheeler here, though. I guess maybe you set up a board behind which Bahamut
I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point. I think if he would have actually Word
Wieldered
and played all of the wards in hand and just protected it against behind Elta, what do you actually do against the board? He's
still in the same spot he was a turn ago, right? And he didn't play the Canyon of Dragons, so he doesn't even have the 5/5.
Yeah. But I think that would have been the most positive play. You just set it behind all of these wards. He can't do anything. And now Warfoki's left in a position where I don't think he has anything he can possibly do against Dragon now. He had the one chance,
Yeah.
and he gave it away.
Yeah. You know, just for my curiosity's sake, I would have loved to know what would happen if he did that.
I want to see that game. I also want to see the matchup where Warfoki actually bans Dragon. I don't know why he didn't.
Yeah. Because this just looks like he's on the back foot, right? You're playing the same cards as your opponent, essentially. I mean, you're playing the wallet package. But you are just falling behind because your opponent gets to those strength options far quicker than you do.
And yeah, I just don't see it now. Even with Bahamut's drawn off the top, even with Israfil's drawn off the top, anything off the top here just feels okay. Because all the rest of the cards in hand are just not that great. And we already see Queen of the Dreadsea, Ozzy Dahaka, and Zeus in hand for Zerofyne. So as soon as that 11 defense comes around for Warfoki, it is just over.
Needs to respond to this Israfil too.
Yep, he's going to have to throw away both of his big followers in play to deal with this. That little water drop does a lot of damage.
Yeah, that is a interesting. Yeah, I would not want to be dropped on by that water.
I would just play Bahamut here. My opponent has 2 cards left in hand. It's Bahamut time.
Yep, you have more than enough answers too.
Yeah. So the other play that he can make, I guess you can just draw cards, play Saha to get rid of the ward. I mean, that was a good draw too.
Nice. Almost everything is working for Zerofyne, and I feel like he's put himself in a very, very great spot. Warfoki, man. In the grand finals, I feel like he came so close.
I feel like there were 3 opportunities this game. When we knew that Zerofyne had no cards in hand, essentially, setting up a good tempo turn, maybe backing it with Elta early, or playing that Elta and then, oh, you know what? I think Elta turns off your own World Welder Ginger.
Yeah.
I think that's
so.
why.
Yeah.
That's what we were missing in that last part.
Yep, because that's right. It's not just your opponent.
It's not just your opponent, I believe.
You're right. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, so maybe we're just completely wrong about the end game one, but the mid game one is he could have protected that Elta behind wards and then a Felice behind wards and then just tempoed up the curve and finally got there.
You do have, you do have the play points to just play the cards too. Right?
Yeah.
Grimner's only 3.
It is true. But yeah, now it's just, what does Warfoki do? What can he possibly do?
Oh, no.
I think Warfoki feels it. We see it on screen here.
Yeah, there's just so much pressure. I mean, your opponent has all the cards in hand, all the options available to you. You're down to 3. You've got a Witch of Sweets, but...
And this is a do-or-die draw for Warfoki. He's got to draw something here.
What is his Illusionist pulling?
At the moment?
I saw Felice earlier, but... Maybe Sahak will?
I think Sahak will. Yep. I think that was the biggest follower so far. Israfil will put him to 18. Unfortunately, that is not enough to get around this Queen of the Dreadsea combo.
It's going to be 9 plus the 5
actually,
plus the 6.
Because of board. Oh, no, it doesn't matter because you can actually run in a follower. Yep. This Ginger is going to come down. Everything is going to see play, but that is not going to be enough. And Zerofyne, I believe, is going to take this one home.
Yep, just trying to fill up the board here.
Yep.
But I think he knows it's over. Minus 15, Warfoki with his hands on his head. He knows that it's over. Actually, board space doesn't let you... Okay.
I don't even think you need it, right?
You don't.
Yeah, it's just you play something and win.
Yep.
So Zerofyne.
There it is. Zerofyne
showing up today,
winning the first European Shadowverse Open.
Crushing it.
And you are right. You know, showing up is exactly right. Of course, you know, the reason why you bring these decks, right? And I think today was a good counterpoint to North America, right? Where it's like, hey,